Welcome, everybody, to another of our weekly episodes of Lighting the Candle, A World That Works. And we're doing a few new things this week, and we actually have a couple of our regular participants that are away on vacation, and they're recreating and increasing the size of their souls. And to that end, we're filling in, and we've got a new guest with us today, who I'm going to let her introduce herself in a moment. But just so that she has a model to follow, I'm Bill Carell. I am the initiator and the crackpot that started all of these calls so that we can get together and have empowering conversations about wherever the spirit moves us. With that said, we're also going to be working on a new time frame this week. We're going to be working on a half hour, so you know that when you start listening to this podcast, somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes from now, it's going to come to an end. That said, let's start by introducing our participants. One of the co-founders, Lisa Sheehan.
Hello all, Lisa Sheehan. I've been in the broadcast industry for decades, and following a tragedy and my job becoming very corporate, I decided to expand my universe and my soul, and looked into all sorts of healing modalities and was wondering where to put it. And then Epic Magazine discovered me. So I'm putting all my passions and my purposes into this new publication that's been out for about a year now, and enjoying meeting new people and discovering new things all the time, and getting to know Bill and now you two lovely ladies and the other people that have started this with us, and looking to see where this will take us even further.
Sure. If I can put in a brushstroke on your introduction, you and your partner Samantha, in the podcast that you do, as well as the magazine, Empowering People, Inspiring Communities, is, as far as I know, is fairly unique. I'm not aware of another publication that does quite what you do. And it's really a pleasure to participate in anything with you, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. So our next long timer is someone who's been away for a little while, but I'll let Vanessa tell you about that. Vanessa?
Well, it's just a health-related issue. Take good care of your teeth, everyone. But yeah, Vanessa S. Lewis, and I'm so happy to be able to be a part of this podcast every week. We never know what we're going to talk about when we do, and just amazing things come out. And that's why I'm here. I love hearing, having great conversations with great people, open-minded people. We talk about spirituality. We talk about a world that works. We talk about what's going on in a world that obviously doesn't work, and it's just really exciting. My background, I started out as a songwriter, and now I'm a marketing copywriter and a freelance writer. And it was trauma that brought me to songwriting, and it was spirituality that is now bringing me back to, music. Not so much songwriting, but music. And then I do the writing because I'm just naturally a very curious person. And I love to just keep searching for answers, and I know I'll never have all the answers, and I'm fine with that. And I joined this podcast because I'm just into, like I said, talking with great people and just helping bring about conversation that reveals and uncovers truth.
That is really awesome. So while you were saying that, and welcome back, I have to say that you add a very valuable piece of chemistry to this conversation. It's wonderful to have you here.
That's very kind. Thank you.
And in the meantime, I missed you too. So in the meantime, Tina has come and gone again, and apparently is back again. Are you there, Tina?
I am here. I don't know what's going on. The universe is telling me something. I don't know, but no, I'm back.
Go limp, okay?
Yes, true.
So it would be,
yeah, I'm back.
Your turn to tell us what you're about, who you are, what you'd like us to know about you.
Okay, so my name is Tina Kadish, and I'm a life coach, and I live in Danbury, Connecticut, and I have been in training and development. I've been in talent acquisition. Has been my background, And so Vanessa invited me today. Vanessa and I have known each other for quite a few years. And so she's been a great person, a great friend. And so we chatted this morning and she told me about this podcast today. So what about me? I recently lost my daughter to cancer 2 months ago, 37 years old, of ovarian cancer. And she went through an 8-month battle with the disease. And so I am in a transition right now and looking at my faith, looking at my purpose. Lisa, you mentioned about your purpose. And I am also looking at what does God want me to do now with my business? Where does he want me to take it? And I wrote an article in a magazine called We Are Beautiful, and it's coming out today. And it's about a mother's voice, that in a blink of an eye, everything can change. And it's my tribute to my daughter, is one piece, but I'm going to be writing a book about her journey and me as her mother, watching your oldest daughter, I have a son as well, going through this tragedy and having hope and really having hope and believing in miracles. Unfortunately, God saw it another way. So I've been really MIA in many things, and I'm slowly getting back to connecting with people again and just slowly figuring out what is it that God wants me to do with this tragedy that happened in our family, in my life.
Well, let me just welcome you and tell you, first of all, I am profoundly sorry for your loss. And I know that having lost a loved one, I'm pretty sure all of us have been through that. It's never the same, and no two loved ones are the same. And the hardest thing for a parent to do is to have a child go before them. So I'm really glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're working on, what your purpose is and what the rest of your days will look like. The story hasn't been written on you yet. This is up to this point, and then from now on, what comes next is going to be what's the most important part. That's what I say.
Very true. Very true. I believe that too.
Excellent. So that said, we're doing this conversation because individually, we have two other really great folks that usually join us. That's Ken Caputo, and Ken is a 30-year martial arts expert and instructor, and he has an amazing amount of organic knowledge and knowledge that he's gained by reading. I think he said he reads 2 to 3 books a week and has been doing so for upwards of about 20 years. So when he's a walking encyclopedia, and I don't know if you ever watched the movie where they outlawed books, Fahrenheit 451, and each person's job was to become a book. Ken has done that for about 300 authors, and he's well versed on all that technology and can pull it up very quickly. And then number 2, we have an amazing lady named Shelley Kohler, who is a dear friend, also a very spiritually oriented individual. And she's got a very important job these days because she actually is a business coach and helps people with getting businesses get through COVID and brings governmental resources to bear so that they can grow and they can make their businesses better. So now that we have introduced our participants that are not here today, let me tell you what I've been thinking about. Let's see if there's any thoughts on the subject. I think the first thing is when we talk about the things that got together, the world news, everything from COVID to catastrophes, fires, hurricanes, unrest in cities and all the rest of that, sometimes you have to call time out. And sometimes you have to give a little bit of quiet and create a space, for people to start learning how to listen again. Because with so much noise at such a high volume all the time, people shut down and they start getting into a mode where they don't necessarily feel any longer. They don't feel from authenticity. They feel possibly from training. They feel from a survival instinct. All of that said, my question today has to do with, what do you think the access to people being able to listen to each other will be? And I'm interested in whoever has a thought first, so we're not putting anybody on the spot in order, but you guys respond very well if I do that either. So, Tina, I might start with you, welcome aboard, and what are your thoughts on the question?
So, can you repeat the question again?
Yes, it's a really simple one. What do you think it'll take for people to start listening to each other authentically again?
I think that really what it'll take is for people to really step back and take the time to be in the present moment. Too many of us, I know myself included, you're always thinking about tomorrow and the next day and the next day and next year. But it's really listening in the moment, being present every day with the person and not thinking about yesterday. And that's what I've been doing with my tragedy. It's really been about being in every hour, like what am I doing right now, and being mindful of that moment. What's going on right now, like right now with the technical issues, that's what's going on. And I'm, right now listening to all of you, and I'm not thinking about after the call. I'm thinking about right now, listening and being present and not being distracted and not having your mind go in so many different directions.
That's excellent. Sometimes it's best to just take whatever's going on and make it, this is how it is, and leave it alone. And so thank you for that. Anything else?
No, I think that's just really important to be in the present moment and to appreciate what you have in front of you. Even during, we have a lot of challenges going on in life in general, in the world today. How can you take something and make it positive or grateful? And let me tell you, it's been challenging for me to be grateful during difficult times. It really has. There's days that I think about, what am I really grateful for? And I got to really, really think hard about it to find something. And I've been finding something. Just being alive, waking up, being alive for myself is good.
Thank you. It's really great thoughts. And Vanessa or Lisa, would you like to address the question for a moment, or maybe respond to something that you heard Lisa say?
I will go. It was kind of interesting as well, because of course, we're all doing a lot of Zooming and classes and stuff, and I've been doing a lot of, yesterday, in fact, I was involved in one that was on how to talk in polarized conversations, especially in light of the political situation. And it was part of the church's outreach for that, for ministers and such. But it was expanded beyond that. But their advice was to do what they called a LAP, which an acronym for listen, acknowledge, pivot, and perspective. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And they did like not real life scenarios, but scenarios that they've been teaching this class long enough that they've seen patterns on how people, stereotype the blue and the reds. So it was an interesting talk on how much insight you can get into your own kind of stereotyping just from what they said. It's just amazing how much is hidden. And then not only that, but when I've been doing these spiritual ally classes too, and even that, when you see what's deep inside of you, that opens up the conversation in itself. So, and to Tina's point too, to be present, so that you're present enough to listen and present enough to see what's inside yourself as well, and be able to acknowledge it. And that opens up a conversation, I think, almost instantly.
Mm-hmm. Great thoughts. Anything else on that?
I am complete.
Awesome. Vanessa?
Yeah, just following up with what both Tina and Lisa said. Tina talked about just being aware of the present moment, and then to connect that with what Lisa said about listening, acknowledging, pivoting, perspective. I love that acronym that you were taught, the LAPP, because it seems like the two would go hand in hand. Like if we just take the time, and even what you were asking, Bill, about just how are we going to get people to start listening to one another again? Because you're right. I mean, we just have all this noise, and even when I go on social media, I feel like I have to try to shout above the noise just to be heard. And it's like growing up in a large family, and you're all at dinner time, and someone's got something to say about their day, but then someone else has something to say about the day, and you just have to shout louder and louder just to be able to get your voice out. And what if there was just more listening going on? And listening involves stepping back and just taking note of the present moment. And that's part of being in the present moment, is listening to what someone else says. So, and I think, just at the very least, I mean, does it have to take a personal tragedy? In a lot of cases, I think, yes, it does, for us to be able to go, wow, I woke up this morning. God woke me up this morning, and someone else didn't wake up this morning. And if we just start right there, oh yeah, I'm grateful for that, and just see where the day takes us.
True.
But
Very
that's
true.
maybe that's not enough, because we have to continue to keep reminding ourselves, okay, I'm grateful for this minute that just went by, because we don't know when it's going to end, for us or for someone else. And my husband and I look at each other and we're like, I can't believe another day is gone. They say the years are long. No, I'm sorry, they say the years are short, but the days are long. And if that just gives us an indication right there that, well, maybe God made it that way too. Maybe we're supposed to be, not thinking about all the time that just went by, but just like thinking about this moment is all we have. And if we want our days to be longer, maybe it takes more awareness of being aware of each and every moment. So.
Good point.
So I really love what all three of you have said. And for me, the way forward, I think what I call the ticket out of hell is for this to become a cultural conversation, for it to be at the level of community, and then at the level of nation, and at the level of the world. And it's going to take some very strong leadership, in my opinion, for people who are more interested in, again, finding out what we have in common and what's really interesting and important to all of us together, and less important to us as an individual and as a group. And at the center of any group that is based on some sort of discord or some sort of besting another group or another person is not necessarily the most inspired thinking in terms of calming things down. So I think we actually have to have people get into a mode of recognizing that why things persist, why they go on through time, is mostly because there's somebody who really wants to hear the message, and somebody who is listening from a powerful place. And my training and my belief is that speaking is speaking, and oratory and all the rest of that stuff is really great. However, if you want to see where the power meter is, it's in the ears and in the listening and in the heart and the soul of the people that are involved in the conversation. Not necessarily because there's something for them to do with it, but there's something for them to try to understand and then get greater clarification on. And as Lisa mentioned, if you are in a conversation and you are truly listening, then you're 100% present. People's mind by nature is going to crawl off to, again, Lisa, as you said, what you're going to do after the call, what you're going to do next week, next month, or maybe where you just came from, if you were able to get away a little bit, or the other things that are pressing you today. However, it takes an adult thinking to say, yeah, that's there. Let me come back to where I am now. This is very important to me, and I want to give it 100% of my attention, intention, and I also want to give it, I want to give it legs. I want to have good ideas, have the opportunity to carry on and go into the future. So, along those lines, I'd like to do one more share from each of us, because we're getting close to our half hour for our first episode today. And Lisa, I'd like to bring it back to you again. Any thoughts that you've had as a result of hearing what Lisa, Vanessa, and I have said, or anything else that came up for you that you want to share?
You talking to me, Bill? Tina, this is Tina.
Tina, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said Lisa.
Yeah, the other Lisa. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Tina. I apologize for that.
I just want to make sure. What I think, I like what you said, Vanessa, about, the days are longer, but yet the years are shorter. And it's so true. But I see, I do feel that the days seem sometimes longer than the years. But life is just, in general, going by way too fast. It really is. It really is. And you have to stop and reflect, like, oh my God, like, what did I do this year? I mean, I know 2020 for me, and of course for a lot of people, it's been a horrible year. And people can't wait for 2020 to be over. I look at it, 2020 was horrible, but 2021, I'm still without my daughter. And so I have to shift my perspective and say, yes, she's not going to be here, but how will I honor her legacy? How will I have people remember her, and just, she's always going to be with me. And so that's how I look at it. Every day she's still with me, in my heart, in my spirit, and I talk to her every day. And that's one day at a time for me. So I look at things differently. I don't look at goals like I used to. I don't look at, there's every day. It's just one day at a time. So I've shifted my mindset.
Very clear, Tina. Thank you. Vanessa?
I love what Tina was saying. I'm sitting here thinking about it, because I didn't know her beautiful daughter personally, but I know a lot of things about her just from what Tina has shared and from what I've read about her. And she was a writer. She loved books. Yep. And she loved books. Like some women love shoes. Isn't that what you said, Tina?
That was her famous thing. Like women like shoes, I love books. And we're actually donating to an organization called littlefreelibrary.org. That's where we're putting a lot of our donations to. And we're also that there's an opportunity that you can have a little library in your town, wherever you want to put it. And it's actually like a little house, and you have a post, and you put it in the ground, and people can donate books, and they can take up order me. And so
all right, so the communication gods keep smiling on us. We've lost Tina. I'm sure she'll be back very shortly.
Did she fade out?
Yeah, we got to put some stickum on her next time, so that she'll be able to hang in there. Lisa, you want to pick up from there, please?
Sure. I adore the free little libraries. We have at least one in town that I've seen, and I think we were going to do one at church, but then all this happened. And I've seen they pop up everywhere. I know it's at least nationwide, but my other thought was, yes, the days are, some days can be long.
Hi, it's Tina, I'm back.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina. We knew you would be.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
It's okay.
I just have no words right now. have no words.
We're dancing with it.
Okay. So as I was saying, we found this organization, and so I'm looking to get a permit to have this little library near her elementary school that she loved, and so the town that she grew up in, and we're working on that right now. So that's going to be a way for us to keep her love of books. And I created a Facebook page called Books from My Closet, because that was her blog by her. So that's things that we're going to keep her memory going, is her love of books, and people are going to, learn more about it.
Excellent. Would you be willing to tell us a little bit more about that in the next segment?
The Little Free Library? Sure.
Okay, great. So,
yes.
Lisa, any closing thoughts?
As usual, I am trying. I was on in the Zoom I was in the other day, it was talking about always hanging out with like-minded people and how that can actually create greater polarization.
Yes.
And then I was with another group of people, and they were just broadcasting all the negative news that they had heard that day. And these are spiritual people. And I did a timeout and said, no, let's try to look at the good things that are going on in the world. And then I was part of another Zoom that was an international organization of how to help fund countries that need it and not stick to the G20. So it was interesting to hear people from all over the world with that kind of influence and power. And they had all met at the UN last year, but this year they couldn't because of what's going on. So just to hear these people talk about that kind of good that they're trying to do, and they have the power and the passion to do it, and to just be part of that whole talk was impressive to me. And I keep sharing that kind of news with people instead of perpetuating the other.
Yeah. So it sounds to me, and thank you, Lisa. Do you have anything else before I give my little bit of share? All right. So it sounds to me like all of the things that we're speaking about today have the best application in every conversation that we're in with whomever, okay? And in our living of our life, being present to the the communication goals that we have for each other, which is always to find out more about the other person than they would otherwise be willing to share, because it can be dangerous in their world. And as you mentioned, Lisa, a lot of times when you hear people telling you how the world is today, they come by that honestly. There's no malintent or any other type of bad behavior. It is you become who you listen to. You become who you talk to. And when they talk about an echo chamber, folks that only listen to the people that agree with them are missing out on 97% of what life has to offer. And they're probably doing it from a state of fear. But having said that, I'm going to bring this episode to a close. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about lighting the candle. You and me and everyone we meet, and a world that works. So I want to thank our participants again today, Lisa Sheehan, my friend, Vanessa Lewis, my friend, and Tina Kadish, who I called Lisa earlier today, and I hope I'm not going to get a kick in the shins the next time I see you, Tina. But in the meantime, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll have another episode for you shortly. Please let us know what you think in the comments. And having said that, we're going to call this one to a close. A great conversation, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
You've been listening to Lighting the Candle, A World That Works, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can hear us at exvadio.com/podcasts, Apple Podcasts app, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and wherever you find podcasts.